Comme l'a regardé Kounia là, sous écran, c'est président Michel Martelly de Haïti qui les Nations Unies, comme nous connaissons que bon ici à l'heure que nous gardons des choses ça, nous portons pour nous les dernières nouvelles. I'm right now in South Africa, so the world on democracy.
Winning TV show every other Saturday on Channel 34, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m.
Live
from New York with your host.
Haitian artist activist Smith Joe.
Good evening, as you know, the star Smith George.
I'm very honored to receive this award this evening. Thank you very much.
Good evening. You are watching The World on Democracy. This show is on every other Saturday on Channel 34, cablecast live from the facilities of Manhattan Neighborhood Network in Manhattan. I am your host, Smith Georges. This Saturday, the 24th of September 2011. It's again more than a pleasure to be here with you this evening. You also can watch this show live wherever you may be on this globe, around the world at mnn.org. Again, we have a great show this evening, and we see what's going on around the world, and we see all the dignitaries, the head of state, so many of them here in the United States. This is an annual rendezvous in the U.S. at the United Nations right here, where they all come to give the speech at the General Assembly, speech concerning the position, the states of their states, the state of their country. Why President Michel Martelly of Haiti was inside the United Nations. You see that? While he was inside the United Nations, the Haitians were demonstrating, asking for justice for that young Haitian male, Johnny Jean, and they were demanding that the UN should stop exploiting minors in Haiti. And on this side it says no more rape, no more food for sex, Minusta Eco Cholera. What they mean by this? Minusta is a segment of United Nations troops that are stationed in Haiti, supposedly to bring peace and stability. Instead, they brought the bacteria called cholera in Haiti, which is from Nepal. That's where it came from. And now they spread in Haiti, where I think the number is much higher. It's 400,000 infected. It's more than that. It's 800,000, and about 10,000 people died of that. And also they're calling no more military occupation, because the UN troops have become more than occupation troops and committing crimes, injustice in the island. Yes to dignity, respect, and national sovereignty. I'm reading it here. Don't violate. Okay, then it says enforce human rights. Don't violate them. That's a very good one here. The United Nations troops, when they send them to a place, they are supposed to enforce human rights. They are supposed to bring peace and stability. In this case, it's quite the contrary. They are raping, young minors, the Haitian boys. You're going to hear the speech of the Haitian president at the United Nations, Michel Martelly. Let me say this in French and Haitian Creole. Bonsoir, mesdames, mesdemoiselles et messieurs. You are watching World of Democracy. Now, President Michel Martelly at the United Nations. Let's watch this together. Regardez Président Michel Martelly qui va parler dans la Nations Unies.
Monsieur le Président de l'Assemblée générale.
Mr. President of the General Assembly, Secretary General, ladies and gentlemen, heads of state and government, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. My first words are addressed to you, sir, that it would be irresponsible for a country that's been hit by disasters to deny itself the assistance, the expertise, the cooperation of sisterly nations, whether they be from the emerging south or from the north, which is supposedly excessively rich. It's this balance, as I was saying, between mature governance and well-conceived international assistance that should be sought after, codified, without any embellishment. Allow me to say here, as an example, the various peacekeeping and stabilized missions of the United Nations in various places around the globe, including Haiti. Everywhere the same situation arises. A country initially welcomes these missions, but in the medium term, problems arise. Why? Because the expectations of the host country are excessive. And on the other hand, these missions cannot operate when they work under unflexible terms of reference. And this is to be regretted, because nothing would be more irresponsible and dangerous than to leave these missions until an effective national alternative is in place. In the case of Haiti, what would the missions have done if today, suddenly, without any warning, they were to be withdrawn? Of course, I am aware of the fact that unacceptable errors were committed and affected the prestige of the mission. But the trees must not hide the forest, and I believe that political stabilization goes through a number of stages. It cannot be based on simply an intervention force or a more or less neutral observer force. That would have been a very simplified view of the initial role of the United Nations. Stabilizing is more than that. And this is the policy of the government that I'm talking about. And these are the four pillars of my policy: education, employment, environment, and the rule of law. How can we build peace unless there is universal and free basic education in a country where there is massive illiteracy? How can we promote sustainable development without high-quality education, which promotes citizen values and ensures gender equality and enhances the cultural identity open to the world, and which leads to tolerance? Jobs. Allow me to say that we can talk as much as we like about human dignity and human rights, of stabilization and peace, but an empty stomach is deaf to words. So it is by creating decent jobs that are properly paid and that respect the rights of vulnerable categories that justice begins. It's by a fair distribution of the income from raw materials that we will stop smothering the countries of the South and that speculation that undermines democracy. On these major themes, nations must come together and come further together. They must be committed to combating deforestation, and they must be united in combating climate change. We must also take into account the problem of water. There will be no peace in the world as long as the living conditions of countries such as mine are so poor, which lead to natural disasters becoming even more tragic, floods even worse, drought even more deadly, and the rural exodus even more wide-scale. Stabilization today also means establishing the rule of law, but the rule of law requires, amongst other things, a independent, responsible, and strong justice system.
Oui. Pendant que moi, Balkané, pendant que nous étions en manifestation hier, nous avons dit comme ça, Sweet Mickey must go. Michel Martelly must go. Moi-même, personnellement, pas appuyé sur le slogan ça. Moi, je vous dis ça. Je pas appuyé le coup d'État. Je pas appuyé tout pour slogan ça qui gagne la dernière ou petite connotation de coup d'État. Connotation de coup d'État, je veux dire. L'autre dit mon must go, fait venir, il est élu démocratiquement, qui il fait tant, même si pas même. Moi-même, je critiquer n'importe quoi. Je critique Aristide, Piquet, Obama, Bush, tout le monde. Mais là, je ne suis pas d'accord avec ça. Mon élu démocratiquement, quitter le film fait tant. C'est là qui fait Haïti, l'Italie. Chaque premier du président, ouvre le président aller tout de suite. Pas qu'à penser comme ça. Je ne suis pas d'accord avec Martelly must go. Pour voir ça, je ne pas appuyer. Ok, passons. Je ne vais pas M. Canel. Moi-même, je vais M. B+. B+. Je ne vais pas A+, qui est plus grand là. Je ne vais pas A, qui vient après A+, là. Je vais B+. Ok, so li fait, moi-même, très généreux, je vais B+. Parce que, en gros, pour monde qui fait président, qui part la politique, qui brosse au discours comme ça, bon, je vais B+. Ça, c'est quand même Michel Martelly. Ou même, sous ta balkanet, qui sont dans le Bali? Map dit nous la bouche, téléphone à 212 757 1538, 212 757 1538, 212 757 1541. Et ou même qui a notre Michel Martelly, ou quand vous relez pendant que nous prenons un break là, we'll be right back. Don't go away. Qu'est-ce que dire? Allô? Allô? Allô, bien dire. Allô?
Ok, si.
Ok, 30 secondes.
Pardon.
Alors, où est-ce qu'on va parler encore? Qui connaît que tu as le président Martelly?
La balle 5 sur 10.
Hein?
5 sur 10 la balle.
5 sur 10, ok. Pour qui sont pas 5 sur 10 seulement?
Pour qui ça?
Oui.
Parce que, d'ailleurs, bon, ça Livia, c'est écrit, qui est sur le côté de la, qui groupe de côté de la balle. Depuis ma montée président, je vais faire tout ça, ou va faire une fois le téléphone en Haïti, ou faire du tout ça. Moi-même, bien, mais 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Moi-même, ça me balle, et B+ là, c'est 80 comme ça, 80, non, c'est 8 sur 10, moi, bali, plus ou moins. Bon, on voit 5 sur 10, c'est droit où, c'est démocratie qu'on a fait. Et vous direz que ça ne parle plus pour tout le monde. Les arrivées sur Michel. Les arrivées sur vous allez, n'a pas les autres 2 semaines. Bye bye, thank you for calling. Well on the democracy, bye bye. I'm right now in South Africa, so wait. The world
TV show every other Saturday on Channel 34, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. In New York, with your host,
Haitian artist activist Smith George.
Good evening, as you know, the star Smith George.
Yes, I agree with Smith George. Giving honor to Smith George.
I'm very honored to receive this award this evening. I'm looking